Hi friends, this is Pyramid Classes and I am your math instructor Mamta Moore. Today we are going to start a series for class 10 CBSE mathematics. This is a revision series. It contains all the formula and some of the question related to the chapter. Before going to start this revision, please like my video and subscribe my channel so that you can be continued with our series and we can score good marks in our examination. In this series we are taking the first chapter, real number, today. Okay, so let's start. So the first formula in this series says real numbers chapter says let p is of any prime number, a number which is divisible by itself and by 1 only. If a number divides, a prime number divides a square of any number, positive integer, then it must divide that number also. That means if p let p prime number 2 is the only even prime number and rest of the prime numbers are odd number. If p divides 64, which is a square of 8, then p must divide 8 also. The second formula says about the irrational number. As we know, there are two types of numbers, rational and irrational. Rational numbers are those that can be expressed in the form of fractions or decimals, and irrational numbers are special type of numbers that cannot be expressed in the form of fraction. So for example, under root 2, under root 3, under root 5, under root 7, pi, e, these are all irrational number. And let's see what the third formula say. If any irrational number which decimal expansion terminates, means after some decimal points the number finishes, okay, then the number can be expressed in the form of a fraction, in the form of p and q, where p and q are co-prime, means they are what kind of numbers? Their HCF will be 1. Then the prime factorization of q means we can express the denominator of such fraction in the form of 2 raised to the power of n into 5 raised to the power of m, where n and m are non-negative integer, means irrational number can be expressed in the form of fraction where the denominator is in the form of multiples of 2 powers and 5 powers if the number has a decimal expansion which terminates. The next formula says if a rational number x equals to p by q form, then the prime factorization with the denominator in the form of 2 to the power of n and 5 to the power of n, then the number have a decimal expansion which terminates. If it is not, then the decimal expansion will be non-terminating or recurring, means let x is equals to p by q is a rational number such that the prime factorization where the q is in the form of 2 raised to the power of n, 5 raised to the power of m, where n and m are non-negative number, then x has a decimal expansion which is non-terminating, repeated or recurring. Okay, the basic or the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The first fundamental theorem given was every composite number. What are composite numbers? Yes, the number which are not prime. A composite number means they have the HCF other than 1 and themselves. Okay, can be expressed in the form of, we can express every other number which are not prime in the form of a product of prime number. This is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, and this prime factorization is always unique, and which where the prime factor apart from the order of the prime factor occurs, means the place or the order of the prime factor can change but the factor will never change. Okay, and the last formula says the prime factorization method. For example, for any two prime positive integer a and b, the product of their HCF and LCM is always equals to the product of the numbers. Okay, now let's see some of the questions related to this chapter. Okay, so we will going to solve these questions.